Demonstration of doing a t-test in Excel. The data that we have here are the SUS scores, System Usability Scale scores, for a study in which we had people use either the NASA site of information about the Apollo space program or the Wikipedia site about the same Apollo space program. And the numbers that you see here are the SUS scores that the individuals gave to each of those sites. And here are the means that you see for those. And here are those means graphed. And you can see that the NASA site got an overall mean SUS score of 40. Wikipedia got an overall mean of 64. Now, either one of those is great. 64 is kind of average or slightly about average. 40 is actually not very good at all. Now, if I had created confidence intervals or error bars here, I would be able to see that, in fact, they don't overlap, and so these are significantly different from each other. But let's do a t-test just to prove that. Now, important thing to understand is that this was what's called a between subjects design. So the people who used the NASA site only used the NASA site. People who used Wikipedia only used Wikipedia. So this first column of numbers is from one batch of people, and this column of numbers for Wikipedia is from a different batch of people. Okay, so here's where we're going to calculate the t-test. So it simply equals t-test. And now it says it's wanting array 1, which is going to be the NASA data. Doesn't actually matter which is which. And now array 2, which is going to be the Wikipedia data. And now it's asking for tails. Do I want to do a one-tailed distribution or a two-tailed distribution? Basically, with just about any kind of UX-related study that we do, the answer to this question is always 2. And the reason for that is that you would only use 1 if it was only theoretically possible for one of the two things that you're testing or comparing to be higher than the other. In other words, is it possible that NASA could either be higher or lower than Wikipedia, which yes, it is, then that makes it a two-tailed test. And finally, the last thing it's asking for is the type of test. And since this is a between subjects test, then that's what's called two-sample test. Doesn't really matter which of these two you choose. I almost always just use two-sample with equal variance. You'll get pretty much the same answer either way. So we'll choose that one. Well, basically I just want to choose another 2 and close parenthesis. And there's our answer. I'm glad it came up that way, actually, because I wanted to point out the fact that sometimes you'll get a crazy looking answer like that. What's happened is that the number is so small that Excel has dropped into scientific notation. So if you ever see something that looks kind of crazy like that, that has an E in it, then change its format to be number, and then just start increasing the number of decimal places, and you'll eventually see that it is just a really small number. So what this means is that this is a probability. This is the probability that this difference here between the 40 and the 64 is simply due to chance. So it is an extremely small probability that it's due to chance, so it is a highly significant difference. Thank you.